noisy!
If the world needs more heroes, then the world needs more episodes of Overwatchers. We are back. I'm Garrett Weinzerl. I'm sitting here with Patrick Beja and Chris, a.k.a. Chanman V. How are you doing, guys?
So much better now that you're back. It was really hard to do the show without you.
Was it? Was it that hard?
Because it's not the same.
Because I listened. I listened to. I'll admit I listened to some, but not all of the episode. But for the first time in my life, I had a lot of my own shows to catch up on because I wasn't on all of them for a little while. But you guys did a good job. I also really enjoyed apparently how sexy Patrick thinks my voice is when I'm on death's door.
Oh my god! I seriously, I turned on TAC, and actually I had TAC's stream open somewhere. And because I was looking at the title or something just on AMove TV, right? And I was just trying to figure that out. Oh, sorry.
Oh, geez, how dare you, Chris?
My bad.
Would you like to?
Yeah, let me get rid of this real quick.
And he was like, "Oh, who is this amazing person I'm hearing? Where is it coming from?" I'm sure.
My bad. The professionalism is great. It's so great. But getting back to the voice, yeah. So I had the stream open. Just in some random tab, and then all of a sudden this mysterious voice starts talking. And
just starts coming on and talking about stuff and things.
You seriously sounded like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? And all of a sudden then I hear the angry chicken. I'm like, oh, whoa, who is that? Is that like a new host or something?
That is called bronchitis, Garrett. He only rears his ugly head 1 to 2 times a year, apparently. Yeah. So for those, thank you everyone, by the way, on Twitter who were wishing me well and making sure I wasn't dying. I appreciate it. So I don't think I'm dying. I'm seeing a specialist in a week, so I'll know whether or not I'm actually dying soon. But I'm feeling better now. So.
Oh, you're still sick?
you do sound like, I don't know if it's better, but you do sound like your normal self. So
yes. Yeah. No. Still a little sore, but that's what happens with bronchitis. But yeah, anyways, that doesn't matter. This is not a show about Garrett's health. This is a show about Overwatch.
Although that would be an interesting show, too.
Dr. G.
Apparently. I wish it wasn't an interesting subject. I wish there wasn't enough bad things happening with my health that it would make for an interesting subject.
Now
But
I feel bad.
no, that wasn't my intention. But anyways, yeah, there's so much happened, while I was gone, and even between the last episode that you two recorded. So first of all, I didn't get really a chance to talk about Anna. Guys, I really like the hero a lot. I especially like the design of the character. She looks awesome as hell. Love her costume. Also, this was a character that was built for me to suck with. I am terrible with Ana.
That's me too. Man.
I'm so bad with Ana. It's hilarious.
I'm starting to see people who can play her really well. It's taken a couple of weeks, but even in normal people's world, not just the pros, I'm starting to see people who really master her. So I was a little bit scared that it wouldn't happen, but now it's going to. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
The first 4 days of the patch, or the first 4 days when Anna came out, whenever I saw an Anna on my team, I was like, oh no. Oh, no. This is such a loss. There's just no way.
Yeah, Chris, you don't.
And sure enough, it was happening the first 4 days. But now, yeah, I'm starting to appreciate playing Reinhardt and getting the ultimate. It feels good when that happens.
I love this because Chris doesn't play heroes, and now he knows our pain, Patrick. When a new hero in Heroes of the Storm comes out, and you get into a game and someone's playing it, and you're like, oh, we're gonna lose. We're losing.
Exactly right. It's Man.
Well, I mean, in Overwatch, at least, I don't know if it's always the case in Heroes, but here you were pretty likely, it was pretty likely that you were having at least one Ana in the other team. And in the case of the first 4 days, about 4 or 5. So
yes.
it evened out. But so you've played her, you like her, but you can't be effective with her. Yeah.
Right. I'm really bad with her, but I love the whole idea of this support sniper to death. I mean, the skill, I feel like the skill floor on her is pretty high. It's more on like the 4th or 5th floor, whereas most of the heroes in Overwatch, it's at the ground level. You can just open the door. Some of them even have automatic doors. You don't have to pull a handle. But to even be remotely effective with Ana, you really have to be on top of your game.
You could argue that she's the most difficult character to play in Overwatch.
I would argue that.
Yeah.
Me too. I would absolutely
not only
argue
because
that.
she's really hard to play herself, but also, as we mentioned in the previous episode, in order to get the maximum out of her, you really need a coordinated team. So on both ends of the playability, she's difficult. So I think there's definitely an argument to be made that she's the hardest one to play.
Yeah, I do. I also really like people. I like having her on my team, and I'm glad you brought up coordination, Patrick, because Chris, you and I were playing some games together the other day, and I can't remember the name of your friend who was in there with us who was playing Ana, but
it was John. Yeah, it was Rails and or. Oh no, it's Kaizo. He changes his name like every so often, so I have to remember as Kaizo now. Yeah, he was playing Ana.
Yeah, and that was the first time I played a game with someone playing Ana who was on voice, and it was fantastic. If for no other reason than just to coordinate who he was using his ult on.
Right. And I mean, you were Reinhardt in that game, so you were, I think, the beneficiary of a lot of it, since going to a tank seems to be the most, at least the most consistent way of pulling off her ultimate versus, hey Genji, come over here, so I can give you the ultimate, or at least peel off so I can at least give you the ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. So the tanks are already there. We're also doing it with Roadhog when my ult was ready.
Yep, that's right.
I think they're the two most common recipients. It's Roadhog and Reinhardt. They can really tear through everything, because the thing is, for both of them, but especially for Reinhardt, maybe, he's really efficient at close range, but it's really hard to get in, obviously. But with the ultimate, you shed off the lack of mobility, and you can really get to everyone. Whereas for another character like Genji, for example, he's already in everyone's face. So the additional damage obviously is going to be very efficient. But for Reinhardt, I think he benefits the most, and maybe Roadhog as a close second.
Yeah, Reinhardt's just infinite swings, I think, is a big deal.
Exactly.
Roadhog, whenever I'd get it, I had to reload, and unless I paired it with the ultimate, it was much less effective, actually, than Reinhardt.
I don't like it on non-ulting Roadhog, but Reinhardt, it's
right.
Like when I first read what the ability did, I was just like, it sounded like a cheesy commercial in my head. It was like, hey, have you ever wondered what it would be like to give Winston's ultimate to whatever tank you felt like? Well, do I have the hero for you? Because that's what it feels like, and I really dig it.
Yeah, it's kind of that, except if Winston's ultimate didn't just tickle everyone that he hits,
That's a very good point.
Actually hits like a truck.
You're right. A better version of Winston's ultimate.
Yeah.
A more painful version anyway. But I think we should just move right into the patch that went up since the last episode, because when I first tried Ana, one of my concerns was it's a sniper and I'm bad, because that's just how I am as a person. Hi, I'm Garrett and I'm a bad sniper. But
I am too. I'm in that group with you, man.
I thought her rate of fire was so slow. Like so insanely slow between shots, and I'm like, if this is how am I supposed to keep people alive when I'm shooting this slow? And also, God forbid I miss, which happens a lot. But her rate of fire got increased by 20%, and she got 2 more bullets in her magazine.
So basically, she's I think she needed a little bit of love, for sure, because as you were saying, not everyone, unless you are really good at sniping, she sucks. I don't know if it's funny. Chris's camera froze, and he looked exactly like a yearbook photo of himself. He was smiling awkwardly. It was amazing. He's gone now, unfortunately. And actually, he hung up. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, she was definitely a hero. If you're playing another sniper, let's say you're playing Hanzo, if you miss, it's not the end of the world. You're just gonna shoot at someone again later. But with Ana, if you miss, that person might die, and you can't get the person back. So it's sort of, if you're not managing to do your job with Ana, it has a lot more consequences than if you're not managing to do your job with a regular sniper like Hanzo or Widow. So I think I haven't had a chance to try her since the patch. I didn't play her, but I feel a buff was probably needed on that on the rifle.
Yeah, I agree so as well. What do you think, Chris?
The rate of fire? Yeah, I think the rate of fire was definitely necessary just because both of actually that and the magazine size. The magazine size has been up like twice now, right? With going from 6 to 10 now. But the fact that she duels her shots, like you either heal or you're shooting for damage, I think was a pretty big deal. And she wasn't acting as a primary healer in a lot of, like if she was to be the, just the main healer and the only healer on a team. And it was actually difficult because she shot so slow to actually keep people up because there's a little delay. Like when you hit it, that little syringe goes, nails the person, and then it kind of injects itself. So the heal happens in a little delay. And I think that was playing into a lot of people like actually falling, just dying like prematurely, I guess you could say, or at least what was intended. So I like the rate of fire increased by 20%. I think will help quite a bit.
Yeah. I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
So, not that it made me a better Ana by any means, but
I think she's better close range too now too. She's almost like a mini McCree in close range now. Like she has that similar kind of element. Obviously not the damage that McCree does.
No, not at all.
Damage is, which we're going to talk about in a second. But,
yeah.
But she feels a little bit more like that now. Even just the speed at which she can reload fire too. So that's good. That's definitely good because she can't defend herself very well. I think that was one thing about Ana that people, probably Blizzard, was seeing is that she would get flanked and she was just pretty much dead unless she landed to sleep, which is pretty tough on the tiny characters.
Yes, absolutely, and chances are those are the ones getting in the back line and screwing with you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But let's talk about the McCree changes. So the damage fall off range on his primary fire was decreased by 10 meters, but the amount was unchanged. So they did want to point out though that even though this has been reined in, his effective range is still higher than it was when Overwatch launched. Now, those of us who were in the beta and before that, we know that at the very early stages, he was a sniper without a scope, but that doesn't matter. Since the launch, he's still better than he was when the game came out.
For the long range, and they also actually increased his short range rate of fire a little bit. So it's funny. He's very hard to balance, McCree. It's the character that they've been changing the most since the beta and since the game launched. The thing is, with the nerf to his right click, he basically, I don't know if you guys agree, but I thought it made a lot harder for him to kill people at close range. And they also actually reduced the recovery time from his flashbang. So it's very small, but still you're going to have a little bit more time to line up your shots and shoot after the person has been flashbanged and before they get out of the stun.
Right.
So he's a little bit more efficient, a little bit less efficient than with the Ana patch at long range, but a little bit more efficient at short range again. So it's kind of it's a weird
give and take.
Yeah.
Which has been the story of McCree since the beginning. And he really did need those changes though to how lethal he was at short range with Fan the Hammer. It was just too good.
Yeah.
Back then.
Right.
Yeah, the rate of fire I think is it's a good way to buff it because obviously the damage from each bullet is definitely not the way to go because that's what they nerfed in the first place, and I think that was good. But with Fan the Hammer, people just weren't using it at all. Like since the last patch, Everybody's just left clicking. They stun and they just left click headshot people instead of fan the hammer because it was like more consistent damage. And you can still do that, but I think now with fan the hammer just shooting quickly, you can actually sneak in an extra left click with the fan the hammer, which I think ends up resulting in more damage than just a headshot. So that's good because it was ridiculous. Actually, McCree, I would just run around left clicking and all I was doing left clicking, and I'm terrible at McCree and I'm just getting like 25, 30 kills with it. And that's just not right.
No,
right.
No, that's
should not be happening.
Should not be how the game should not be how the game works.
Yeah. Plus, I think this gives Farah a little bit more of a chance to making it back in the meta game because she got shut down like big time with the last patch with all the changes. So maybe Ferris can get in the air at least against McCree's. Zenyatta's are still probably a problem, but at least McCree might not be able to shoot her down instantly.
Yeah.
It's funny because she was with the previous patch, she became the queen of the skies again, and then with this patch, she was like, oh, I can't move an inch without getting shot down, and yeah, hopefully it brings her back to it. We've seen, I don't know if it's the same with most games, but the meta has been changing really quickly on this game. Because of the tweaks, of course, but
yeah,
it feels like every week it's different.
Especially the last patch, because I was leaving and I was sick. I kind of just glanced through the last patch, and then I got back. I got back from the keys, and I got into a game with you, Chris, and went up against all D.Vas. And I was like, I remember seeing D.Va changes, but how good really were they? And I went back and read. I'm like, oh my god, my favorite hero is amazing now. I love the D.Va changes.
You know what's funny? We've seen D.Va wasn't changed with this patch this week.
No, it was the previous one.
We've seen a lot of of course, but I mean they basically reined in the things that were deemed overpowered or underpowered after the Ana patch with this patch this week. But one of those things was D.Va, who is considered, or maybe she was considered for a few days, to be too good at this point. And it hasn't been my experience. I think a lot of people have been discovering how fun and good she is that they weren't playing her before. She's definitely, her shield makes her a lot more efficient than she was before, for sure. But I don't know that she was overpowered as some people were suggesting.
I don't think she is either. I mean, we actually that game we got into, Chris, where it was 5 D.Vas and 1 Lucio. We lost our first game. We're like, oh crap, and then you just kept doing it, and then we won the next 2 handily. I mean, the D.Va's not that good.
Yeah, it's just a matter of countering. Just all of us. It's not easy to just immediately figure out how to counter it, to be honest, because so many pilots running around shooting and ults happening, and it was actually a little bit crazy. But the fact that once you kill her, there's a pretty, actually, she can get back to the battlefield pretty quickly. So
yeah, she can.
I don't know, but definitely we were swinging it once we would just kill one of them, and then it starts to swing. I think when you have 5 of them together, it's pretty strong. But when you drop down to 3 or drop down to 2, then it's not that big a deal, right? Her damage isn't that effective when it gets to that point. So yeah, she's not overpowered, just from the stacking standpoint, but she's pretty darn good right now. And we just talked about Farah too, right? One of the reasons Farah's bad is because of D.Va. Her matrix is amazing right now. It just blocks, it just eats up any damage now instead of reflecting it or just having a barrier. Even though the barrier just blocks, it blocks rockets, but rockets still explode on the barrier, right? Her matrix just eats up rockets. They just disappear. So it's it's actually crazy. Her barrage is completely worthless against D.Va. It's crazy how good D.Va is right now, at least against that metagame.
Yeah, but is it dramatic enough, Chris? Because one of the coolest things about using a Reinhardt shield to block Farah's ult is just how dramatic it is.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's not as dramatic. I give you that. I definitely do enjoy that kind of exchange that Reinhardt has. And Reinhardt can, flame strike him, just really quickly sometimes and kill that D.Va. Or not the D.Va, the Farah at times.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have that happen to D.Va. D.Va just owns her. she just runs up to her. She just flies up to her, too, with this Matrix and just engulfs her.
It might not be dramatic, but I found out something I can't remember if we talked about it on the show. I don't think so. Do you know why she says time to raise my APM when she uses the Matrix?
Yeah, I think we showed this. We talked about this on an older episode.
We did. Okay.
The animations, if you watch her fingers, she does an action on her joystick for each and every projectile she blocks. So if you,
so I think that's pretty badass. It's kind of dramatic too.
Yeah, it is.
I'll give you
It is
that.
cool.
I will give you that, but that's only dramatic
is
for the
cool.
person playing D.Va. No one else can see it, but
That's true.
I was just trying
That's
to make
true.
it. I was really just making a joke about that. I just like to feel like Captain America with Reinhardt. So,
That would be an amazing type of hero. Like someone with with a shield that they can throw and that it bounces from people to people. Oh my god, I want that.
oh, make it happen. Oh, make it happen.
Yes.
That would be pretty amazing, actually. Oh my gosh.
That would be so sweet.
Yeah.
But
Like when you target it, there's a path that lines up, and if you whether or not you can hit different people on that path, or I don't know. Anyway, yeah, nerd.
yeah. But moving.
I'm talking to myself. Stop being a nerd,
Hey,
Patrick.
but that is what Overwatch is
so
about.
cute.
If you
That's so
listen, like when Overwatch was announced, they talked about it like it was guys. We just decided to make our own Avengers because this is what we wanted to do, and that's exactly what they have done. So it's okay to have these conversations. It's okay to geek out about a video game. We don't have to just talk numbers. But anyway, moving on with the news, let's get back in and talk some numbers. Jeff Kaplan unloaded a ton of news on Ster's stream. And thanks to Redditor Matt Ricks on the Overwatch subreddit, he collected all of the pertinent information. And there was some interesting stuff. So on the next PTR patch, Mercy's damage boost, his percentage is getting reverted back.
That's the old stuff.
That's the old stuff.
It's already in. I bolded out the things that are.
Gotcha. Okay. My bad. So there's 4 maps in development right now, but make sure you understand that some of them may never see the light of day. Which
So
that
4
right
maps.
there, yeah, 4 maps. I'm also surprised that they gave us this information if some of it might not actually come out, because that's not Blizzard-like at all. Usually, Blizzard, in that case, I expect the team to just not say anything at all. So I think this is super cool. Please keep doing this.
The interesting thing is that they mentioned one might be coming soon-ish. So maybe in the summer, because you remember Jeff Kaplan said that the summer was going to be crazy. And it's a little bit crazy with Ana, but I think when he said crazy, I'm expecting more than just one character. So the new map will be coming soonish, but it's in existing game modes. The next ones, the other maps they're working on, will have a different mode. It's a new mode. So that also got me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love some information on what that mode might be.
Yeah. But at least we'll see. It sounds like the first map is right around the corner, which will be one of the existing game modes. But it'll be great to at least get that soon.
Yeah.
You know what really bothers me with that, though? If you're a faithful listener, if you've listened to everything, you'll know that I was really happy we had 3 maps per mode now. It was very it was very ordered. It was, my OCD nature was satisfied. But if we have a new map in one of the modes, it's going to be 4 maps for one mode and 3 maps for all the others. That it doesn't work. It's I want to anyway. But
I love that this bothers you as much as it does, because to me, you sound like a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure I do to most people. But there's 2 people in the audience in the entire world that are listening to me right now and going, I know what you mean, Patrick. I also feel that way, and this is for you guys. Thank you.
Well, that's the. I mean, I get it, but it's.
We can move on. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'll survive.
I would love to just. I find a new game mode far more interesting than symmetry in my numbers of maps. But, anyways.
Well, to be honest, me too. It's just.
Here's my question to you, and lay your opinions on me, guys. Do we think that one map, one hero, and some new skins, which are also coming before the end of summer, equals a crazy summer?
Well, we're going to get to another thing that might make the summer more crazy in just a little bit. So I'm going to say they're at least aiming for more than that. I think they're aiming for more. We'll see if they manage to do it, but I think we'll have more.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Also, they confirmed the hitbox changes. That seems like almost everyone on Reddit, that's the only thing they've been talking about. So we're actually going to... You have a video you pointed to just below that everyone should go check out. What YouTube channel was this on?
I can't remember, but basically it was the hitbox. Oh, it's BL Iddy.
BL_Iddy.
It's just a guy.
Yeah, BL_IDDY.
It's a very, like, they have 8 subscribers. It's a very small channel. I don't think they produce a lot of things, but it's basically a test of the different the hitboxes on the PTR and the hitboxes before. And it's true that the hitboxes were a lot larger than the actual characters before. And a lot of people noticed it and complained about it. And Kaplan mentioned that it was really because you had small heroes and it's a lot of projectile weapons. And he felt that it didn't feel good if you were missing all the time. But, you know, it ended up feeling bad when people were actually hitting you when they shouldn't have. So apparently now the hitbox is very much in line with the geometry of your model, of your character.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched this video, I do recommend you go check it out, because it is drastic, the change. And do anyone here disagree with the change? I think it's for the better.
I think it's for the better. I think it was smart to actually originally do it with a larger hitbox, though, just so people could feel that initial satisfaction, of playing Hanzo, and killing people from around the corner, and even Roadhog and things like that, right? So it was really smart of them, but now it's time for the adjustment, and I think everybody will understand the adjustment, even the casual players. I think at this point are fine with it too. So overall, yeah, it's good. Definitely good to change it.
Yeah. I dig it. So are we ready to are we ready to move into hardcore scuttlebutt territory?
Oh gosh, this is serious.
Okay, so the Sombra, like, tinfoil hat conspirators are out in full force, guys, and I love you people. I love you. Anyone who does this, like, they go this deep to try and decode things. You are my favorite kind of nerd, because I do not have the patience to do this, but I love reading your craziness that you went to find some of this information. So, I don't even know. So the new dev update, at the end, there was, like, static at the end, and folks on the Overwatch subreddit decoded that static and turned it into a QR code and figured out what it said.
That was pretty amazing.
What the hell?
I know, this is like so perfect for me too, because I'm an engineer, just by nature too. And just watching somebody actually do this with barcode, decoding the barcodes and then converting it to to ASCII and then to hex and then putting in the dashes and then I guess reversing basically the decoding of it. That's just impressive. Like, I don't even know how people even thought about, like, just the bars themselves being a code. That is just crazy. Like, it never dawned on me at all that would be.
It was, just this weird thing at the end of the dev update. It was a few frames, maybe 3 or 4 frames of something that did look like a barcode. So, and there's never been anything like that in the dev updates before. And of course, there wouldn't be, it's weird. So this guy came to Reddit and he was like, oh, this is completely tinfoil hat and, whatever, but, it could be nothing. But I saw something at the end of the dev update. Do you guys think it might be something? And I think the the people at Blizzard must have been having such a blast. First of all, creating it and thinking, is it too hard? Is anyone going to notice? Is anyone going to find it? And seeing how it unfolded. And then in the end, people found it in a few days only, like one or two.
Yeah.
And so they must be thinking, all right, game's on. How much harder can we make those hints so that people will, have to work for that? So yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. That being said, it translates to, was that easy? Now that I have your attention, let's make things more difficult. That's true. I'm not sure how this is, other than the fact that it was in Spanish, I'm not sure how this is a Sombra hint.
Exactly.
It is. Of course it is, because she's a hacker. And she is giving you messages, and you have the whole. So, okay, let's dive into the Sombra thing in general.
Okay.
What we know, I can't remember exactly how we know it, but there are hints on a lot of different places. One map in particular, I think it's Dorado. The company, is it Lux something, Luminous something about light. And they want to start the protocol Sombra, and there are files where she's referenced, and there are things about her. Basically, a lot of people think she's a hacker, and so that is a way of communicating with people. Maybe she hacked.
That's what I was going to ask you. You said, "Oh, she's a hacker." Like we all know that, like it's a fact, dude. This is a game where there is literally zero story in the game itself. You can't even read the heroes' bios in the game of Overwatch itself. You have to go read comics. You have to go out of the game to wikis. That is not known information. So how?
No, but I don't have the
backstory basically right now.
I don't have the references. I can't remember, but it was somewhere on Reddit. The logic behind the idea that she's a hacker seemed sound. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly all the details.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we all originally think Sombra was Farah's mom and was Ana?
Right.
We all thought that, but it wasn't the case. Listen, I'm not the bad guy here.
I'm not saying you're the bad guy. I'm just saying. I just want our listeners to know that these are not facts. These are
of course.
Yeah, from Ana's mom to stealth hacker now.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Wait, Ana is also Sombra? What? No. So yeah, this is what people think. Obviously, it could be it could not be the case, but even more importantly for the game itself, there were some new voice lines in the PTR that is now the live game that were data mined, and most of them, a lot of them reference a character or something that is there and can't see. So basically, the logical explanation would be that Sombra is a character that uses stealth somehow, to which I'm expecting Garrett's reaction to be, no!
Well, seeing as the
Overwatch stealth as a mechanic.
Seeing as the Overwatch team has already said that they had a lot of issue with stealth and that it was an unfun mechanic, I'm assuming it's not stealth. I'm assuming it's not perma stealth. I'm assuming that they have figured out a way to make it not feel as bad or not feel as unfair.
What? Yeah, I think I was talking to some other folks about this. I don't think it's going to be literally she's invisible. It'll just be one of those
Predator.
You can kind of see the shape of her moving around, but she's camouflaged into the background.
You get the Predator effect, where you see
the
translucent, but it's still kind of warping the light in a way where you can make out the silhouette.
Yeah,
the little shimmer thing. Yeah. And maybe I'm guessing she can't do it all the time, as you were saying. It's going to be like a 10 seconds or something. But then still, let's say it's 10 seconds, and then if she can do a lot of damage, she can still stealth in and kill you. So maybe that also, she can't deal damage straight out of stealth, or I agree. I think they will find a way to make it work, and I'm actually looking forward to that, because I would love to see that kind of mechanic. New and very different mechanics are the most exciting, right? When we first saw Mei with her wall and her slowing, her slow effect, it was like, oh my god, you can do that in this game! It's crazy, and I'm looking forward to see what the stealth thing could be made into.
Is she going to be an offensive character, or what are people, I guess, speculating right now? Because if she's stealth, I could see her. It'd be better if she was some type of support character versus, damage dealing, because that would be very frustrating if she, it's hard to see this person and they're just like wrecking like Genji or something like that. That would be very hard to deal with unless you had a counter ability that would reveal her, just every time she did it. If it was just, some type of aura effect that she had, that would help all your teammates, or just didn't affect the enemies too, I feel like that would be more appropriate for something that was stealth.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, like Patrick was saying, he assumed I would hate this immediately, but I'm going to reserve my opinion until I see how it actually functions, because there's a lot of different ways you can go about having stealth in a game. So
no, it's true.
If she's just perma-stealth,
logic.
Yeah, if she's perma-stealth, I'm out. I just quit this game. I will walk away. But
no, I didn't really think about the possibility of her being support. Even with Ana, we still have one less support character than we do defense and offense. So it could absolutely be a support character, and that could be very interesting. I didn't think about that.
That is not where my brain goes at all, though. When you say stealth, I immediately think backstabby BS. So
right, rogue or
all the supports we have in the game at the moment, they can already play safe if they just stay in the back line for the most part. I don't think you need to be invisible while supporting.
No, but imagine that. Imagine if you're on, let's say Ana, right? Just as an example. Imagine instead of having to sleep or run or just some kind of way of trying to get away or reposition, you just immediately stealth. You just stealth and you go run and hide. You run into a building or something. You just sit there in the corner for a second as your enemies are running by and stuff like that. That'd actually be a lot of fun.
I would absolutely love that on Ana. And now that you mention it, because my big disappointment with Ana is no way to reach high places and you're a sniper. At least no way easily. So if at the very least, I wouldn't mind being able to stealth so I can kind of go set up somewhere.
Yeah, and imagine the YouTube capabilities, guys. The actual videos that could be made with this, right? I mean, I think it's gonna be definitely just a cornucopia of YouTubes and GIFs or GIF cats or whatever that we're gonna see with this. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Or GIFs. But
GIFs. I say GIFs. I always do that.
I don't actually care what people say, but when I say GIF, I always get flamed on Twitter, and I'm just like, whatever, man. You do you.
You do you.
You do you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be interesting. But if she is a support character, does she need to heal, or does she join Symmetra in the non-healing support characters category?
I would like to see a Symmetra type of character, just something that has support that's not just full out heal. I mean, right now it almost feels like, Symmetra has that shield aspect, that's somewhat like health.
It's mitigation, and I like that a lot. At the moment, we only have one hard support that deals in damage mitigation rather than healing, which is replacing health that was already lost. So I wouldn't mind another one, because we already have so many supports that do a traditional heal.
Yeah. It's like this whole discussion with Zenyatta, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. Zenyatta's, very much in the metagame now since the change. But I feel like he's in the metagame because of offensive reasons, not so much as a healer, because he can't be a primary healer.
Well,
support. It's just so weird with Zenyatta.
Well, I think he's the most lethal of the support, and that's why. That was always what I thought. That was the role he filled. It was just before he was just so weak. He was so easy to kill.
Yeah.
And the changes now, I really like the Zenyatta changes. It's now worth the risk, because you still need the heals from him, and now that his orbs travel so much faster, I feel it really helps offset that massive nerf that we saw come to his orbs in beta.
Yeah. So with Sombra, I'd like to see just more auras, that type of thing, like Zen's transcendence, just something that's a little bit more, not as strong as that, obviously, but in just more consistent. I don't know what it would be, though. I mean, definitely get away from life and speed. Like, let's come up with something a little bit more unique than that, like what we've seen so far in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we're going down the rabbit hole of things that were extracted from PTR's patches, Redditor the Funyun Knight, which winning the name game, sir, oh my god, found a bunch of references to what looked to be like holiday events, Oktoberfest, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, more stuff. So, hooray! I shouldn't be surprised because there are holiday events in every Blizzard game, but I love them, and I really hope to see them come to Overwatch.
Well, it seems very likely. I mean, they might have been working on this and ended up not doing it, but why would they include them in the PTR now then? And there are, different maps. There's a map that might be on the moon, underwater, a castle in Germany, lots of stuff. But yeah, those holiday things, I can absolutely imagine, like, I don't want to say hats because this is way too much Team Fortress 2, but if you're talking about Christmas, everyone with a little Santa hat running around, that would be cute. It's having those things and the payload, replaced with Santa's sleigh or stuff like that. That kind of ridiculous thing. I don't know. It could be fun.
That would be, or just decorating the payload, like hanging garlands and lights on it, and
yeah,
something like that. So you don't need to change the actual shape of the payload and how it, how it blocks line of sight and whatnot. But I take the fun out of everything. I'm sorry, guys. But the real important question there is, Patrick, where do you put the hat on D.Va? Is it going on the neck because the image in my head is hilarious and I want that to be it, or is it just on?
Absolutely.
Is it on D.Va and herself, or is the answer both?
But, both, yes.
Both,
or maybe you can have, different characters from the different, holidays. I don't know. Like Oktoberfest, it could be some are dressed in traditional German attire. Some, I don't know. It's just, I'm wondering, I used to think that this game shouldn't be too silly. And now I'm kind of happy if it is silly at times. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hey man, as long as we don't get the really lame real sports skins that are in every MOBA on Earth and even Heroes now, I'm okay.
Real sports? Well, we have Lucio playing hockey or whatever, right?
Oh, I guess you're. Oh crap! It's already there. Never mind.
You already crossed that.
Never mind. I hate that so much. It's this pet peeve of mine. But I'm playing this to escape boring real life. Keep it away from my fantasy games. But doesn't matter.
The holidays they're talking about are kind of real life stuff. So already you're screwed.
But they're the fun things in our real life.
Unlike sports.
Yes, exactly. Sports are not fun. Sports are not fun.
Such a nerd, man.
Unless my team makes it to the playoffs, I don't pay attention. So, anyways, moving on. So Lucio's wall ride, man, got an unnoted buff with the Ana patch. The way he can ride walls now, it's great. You don't fall off. You transition corners effortlessly.
It's infinite as well. Right?
Yeah, it's infinite.
Yeah,
That's the thing I was saying when you don't fall off, because it used to be after X amount of seconds you would just fall off the wall. That doesn't happen anymore. You just ride that thing infinitely until either you stop holding down the button or you literally run out of wall.
Yeah.
I really like this change.
Yeah, Voskai and Lijiang Tower now are going to be easy just to ride those walls.
Yeah.
Walls, those opening walls or whatever on the left. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or on Watchpoint Gibraltar between the two catwalks.
Yeah, he showed that too. That's true. I never do that actually. I don't know why. It never dawned on me to actually do that.
Yeah, well, you should start now because it's way easier to cross that gap than it used to be.
It probably wasn't that hard to begin with.
It was doable before we had to time things correctly.
It was definitely doable. We discussed how, it was possible to do some incredible things with Lucio's wall ride in the past. And it was possible for sure, but it was so hard. It was so difficult that it was almost like it wasn't in the game. And with this change, it makes it really usable. It makes that ability for Lucio an actual, additional ability. And I really like it. And I thought it was going to be making our time miserable in game. And I think if we still had stackable heroes in competitive, it might have, because then it's kind of like the tracer problem. If you have one, you can deal with her, and if you have 5, then it's a nightmare. And imagine 5 Lucios gliding on the walls everywhere. You're like, come down, you little grr, and you can't shoot him down. If it's one, it's okay. You can deal with it. So I thought it was going to be annoying. It actually isn't that much. It's I think it works in the end.
The thing I like about it, because I originally thought, well, we're kind of removing a skill cap a little bit from Lucio, but what I like now is that they've made the wall ride so much easier to accomplish that now you don't need to focus on just the wall run to be good at it. You can just ride along the wall and start shooting at things, and you don't need to use your speed. You can use your heal, so you're still healing people in the vicinity. And I think it's just made him overall just a much more effective support.
Yeah, I mean, people were using the wheel, right, for the jump key just to be able to wall ride with Lucio. I don't know if you still have to do that or not. I mean, my experience, I definitely play a decent amount of Lucio, but it's a little bit easier for sure to like, the really key ones is really just to do the pole ride, right? Like on a lot of these King of the Hill maps. That still feels like it still takes quite a bit of jumping to pull off, because those edges I don't think are very, very smooth, or even they're a bit jagged just in terms of doing that. It might just be practice. I think I might just need to practice a little bit more with doing it, because I'm just so used to like literally just spamming my jump key whenever I'm doing it. So I'm probably still doing that at this point.
Yeah.
But it's still nice. I feel like it's something that should have been there originally anyways. It just felt really, really natural just to be able to write it. And yeah, it's definitely good for sure.
Yep. It is. Yeah. So our free World of Warcraft sprays going to everybody.
Yeah.
We all got a Legion spray, and it looks sweet. And that's as far as I'm going to go there, because it's way too easy to pull me into a discussion about WoW on any show that's not about WoW. But
so I won't say anything then, because it would.
Yes, and Patrick is here, and then it'll just turn into an episode of The Instance. And yeah. But go enjoy your free Illidan You Are Not Prepared spray, everyone. If you didn't know it was there, it's sitting right there. Go slap it on and start defacing your map of choice.
I'll just say one thing, though. I really hope that we get special things in Overwatch, and I'm sure we will, with the collector's editions of other games in the future. I'm hoping it's not just the sprays, and we get, something else. Not just sprays and badges. And at the same time, I'm not sure we want skins that would look completely out of place in the game. But I don't know. Just mentioning that I would like to get stuff.
I would love to see skins that kind of bridge the gap but still look like they belong in Overwatch. Like I could see Genji having a skin where his green lights are in the shape of the sigils that are tattooed on Illidan, or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That Oh my God, that would be awesome. I want that. Cool. Yeah, forget everything. That's what I want.
I'm glad you like the thing I just pulled out of my rear.
Sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, but I would like that. It just makes you not so on the nose. Don't just like throw a tier set from a raid on Reinhardt. Although, never mind. Do that. Do that. I want that too. I'll take that as well. That sounds pretty great. But yeah, anything. I love cross game promotions. Heroes of the Storm does this really well, but also they get away with it because it is all of the franchises being slammed together. But I like that stuff in Blizzard. They've been doing more and more of it. And this is the first time we're getting it in Overwatch in the form of this spray. So keep them coming. It's fun stuff. I like fun. Taking a really, brave stance there with that declaration. But
wow, I almost went when you said that. It was shocking.
So taboo, man. Fun. Wow.
We got some new Overwatch comics. We got two Ana comics since I was last here. I've read them both, but the most recent one is Old Soldiers, and I'm digging them. And it's not just because Bangle did the art, and he's definitely my favorite artist they've used so far. But I like these Ana comics. It just makes me want a damn animated series though, in the worst way, because these little vignettes would be so sweet as animated shorts.
Yeah, I still think the 10 pages is a little bit too short, or what is it, 8? It feels really short. It's just, as you're saying, it's vignettes. But in this one, we get, we probably shouldn't spoil, so I'm not going to say anything, but there are things that are hinted at Not even hinted at. It's like,
we should talk about
all
it.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
spoiler,
if there was
guys,
ever
don't
a-
listen for the
If
next
there was
5
ever a
minutes.
place to have
Yeah.
a deep conversation about an 8-page comic based in the world of Overwatch, I would assume an Overwatch podcast would be the place to do that. So
all right. So there was that moment when she takes off Reaper's mask, and you don't see what's in there.
No, but she's
she does,
horrified.
and she's like, "Oh, what have they done to you, Reyes? What have they done to you?" And you're like,
You're so
"What
ugly."
show
what
it.
have they
Show
done
it.
to him? I want to see."
What is his
But,
face? I mean, I would
so
imagine it just kind of looks like Genji's face. Just kind of messed up, Darth Vader-y, but
I
What are
don't
you
think
supposed
so.
to
I think
feel?
it's like I think he's supposed to have been like reconstructed with nano bot things that
Nanobots.
is.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
and that's how he becomes incorporeal and phases through stuff and takes his clothes with him. Apparently, because
exactly.
that's how
Exactly.
things
I
work.
love that too. Because wouldn't it be great though if Reaper started the game fully clothed, and the first time you wraith walk, you're just nude for the rest of the time until you die? Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah,
That would
that,
be
that,
awesome.
that with the infinite rifles, man. I don't think they'll ever be able to explain those things.
Technology. It's technology.
It's-
it just works.
Nanobots, man. Nanobots.
But
just
yeah,
right
that
away.
and the fact that you see Soldier 76 without his mask, and at first I was like, that you look weird, man. Just put it back on.
I
It's
liked
fine.
it. He looks like Peter Weller in RoboCop when his
Yeah,
mask
he
is
does a little
off.
bit.
That's exactly what he looks like, and I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
true.
And
Yeah.
if that's what he looked like in game, I would like his costume so much more because I don't know, the mask isn't that cool, and his costume still looks like pajamas to me, man.
One thing about the comic though, like his proportion is a little different, right? Like in the comic, his legs aren't as long or something, because I feel like he almost looks like a little kid with white hair in some way.
Wait,
He
what?
kinda
What?
feel- Yeah, I mean, when I first saw him, he still had his mask on. I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks like a miniature version of Soldier, because again, his proportions just aren't exactly the same as the actual the animations in the game.
I did
So it
not
took me a
get
little
that
bit-
at all. And I'm
Really? It
I'm
took me a
looking
little bit to get used to, and then obviously they show his face and he's got wrinkles and stuff. It's like, okay, all right, he's this kind of old guy.
I'm gonna go full art nerd on you now. You are aware of things like angles and foreshortening, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
all right.
aware of those things.
'Cause actually, I'm looking at it now, and
if you want to, have you guys watched them on as motion comics or as regular comics?
regular
Both.
comics. There's motion comics
Motion
versions of
comics
these.
is awesome.
There's a motion comic version of all of these.
Yeah, he
Yes. So
yeah.
What? I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Oh, I should have read it
So
that way.
actually,
There's a couple-
anyone listening to my voice who enjoys the comics, go download if you have a phone or I think it's on iPad. I'm not sure it's on Android. It must be. But
Better be on iPad. I don't
the
wanna read this on a
Madefire
phone.
app. Madefire. It's very easy to find. They have motion comics for all of the Overwatch comics, all of them. And they also have them for the new World of Warcraft comics, so you can get both. But you probably remember the one for Reinhardt that we talked about a few months back.
Yeah, 'cause they
and
had that-
we all thought was amazing, right?
Yeah, it was animated in browser, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same company, and I didn't realize. I'm not sure whether they did the Reinhardt one, and then Blizzard was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome! Please do it for all of ours, all of the comics," or if it was actually under contract from the beginning. I'm not sure, but either way, they're all available now. They are awesome. Go check them out. They're free too, as they are on the web. So there's no reason not to do it. Madefire again is the name of the app.
Yeah, and
And
finally,
it's got sound too. It's got sound and music.
It's music,
and
yeah.
It's very, very, very good.
and Patrick, if you were complaining about the length of these not being long enough, does Dark Horse have something for you? And
Oh yeah.
we're getting a 100-page Overwatch graphic novel in April of next year. So there's that. But nonetheless, hey, it's coming.
So wow.
I'm excited. I can't believe they announced it so far out, though.
I know.
If this
it's
had been
weird.
announced at BlizzCon,
They-
I still felt it would be too far out.
Well, they announced it at Comic-Con, right? So I think they wanted
That's
to
why.
make some kind of huge announcement there. They're also going to come out with an art book too. So it's like a
Finally.
back-to-back thing. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
not. I think maybe a combination of those two things is they wanted to get out. It might have been something they just literally closed on and just wanted to let everybody know too. But 100-page graphic novel shouldn't take that long to make, right? I would assume. I don't know if it's one person doing all the drawing and one person doing all the writing. I guess it could take almost a year.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I mean,
it will. It's not coming out before April, so I guess, it will.
That makes sense if they just closed on it, because it does take a while to draw those things. So
It does, yeah.
It's probably, and they mentioned it's going to focus on the original strike team for Overwatch. So it's going to be the story of Morrison and Reyes and Amari and Torbjorn and all of those.
Yep, exactly. And
what was nice about? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say in reference to the bit about Reaper's face being all jacked up. We do know that it came to a head, and there was an explosion at the original Overwatch base when there was a fight between Jack and Reyes. So maybe he was burned horribly, or who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about, or the one thing about the latest comic is that it's the first one that I would say, has all of them together for once, right? I mean, they're actually meeting in what's the most current time versus, a lot of, just everybody else has their own, like, I guess it is the current time, but it's just them and just their backstory. Like all these vignettes have always been about just, just adding some more to their, or at least letting us know more about their backstory. This is like the first one, I think, where they're still doing that to some extent, but, you're actually getting a sense of what's going to happen, in the future too, right? It looks like Soldier and Ana are going to be together now, right? They're going to at least be working together now, where, before.
Wait, they're together?
Well, not that way.
Well, they're also they
not
are
that way. All right.
It is Overwatch.
It's a bit old for him. I mean,
well, hold on a second.
Old
It is
people
Overwatch Mom and Overwatch Dad, so I'm fine shipping them. I think.
Mom
so
and
actually,
Dad. It's Mom and Dad.
community-
Oh God.
No. The community has kind of kept Overwatch Dad as Soldier. It's still Dad 76. It's Mom is Mercy, and Ana is the grandma. So that's.
I don't think Mercy is
Dad
not.
and Grandma.
I disagree with that though. Mercy is not mom-like in any way, shape, or form, and Ana is totally, just like exhumes mom feelings.
Let's not delve deeper into that those feelings. Let's leave them aside for a second.
I don't know. Maybe I just needed my mom to shout at me more in German. I don't know. But
Yeah. Heroes never die. I told you, Garrett.
Exactly.
Do your homework.
I'm really excited for the comic. I can't wait for the art book because Overwatch has such an extremely strong art style. I can't wait to just pour over those pages. So bring it on, guys. Just get it here faster. What the hell? Gotta wait till April to finally get some meaty backstory on this game.
I guess that 100-page graphic novel will be the full story, right? Like we won't have to get little pieces anymore or speculate anything. It literally will be the full backstory.
I hope so.
Yeah, I kind of hope so. At the same time, once the present is unpacked, it sort of loses a little bit of its appeal. So I'm wondering if they aren't going to leave some things that aren't explained almost forever, right? It's that
Recurring
lost
type of
TV
thing.
series thing that you never really know, because if you do, then it becomes trivial and you don't care anymore.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it's the Star Wars prequels problems. No,
Yeah.
You know what? I don't need to know how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. It was better when it played out in my head. But
Yeah. Well, that I would have things to say about that, but in another show.
it's for another show. We'll have you on. Let's talk about Star Wars, Patrick. How's that sound?
Exactly.
All right, wonderful. Well, before we move on, let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/Overwatchers for supporting the podcast. Huge thanks to our producer, LVE. But also this episode, let's thank David S., Kongan B., Mende N., Benjamin S., and Scotty D. Thank you all for supporting the show. Really do appreciate it. If you like Overwatchers, you dig the show, you like it, you dig it, it's fun, good job. You like my mom issues with certain characters? All right, well, head on over to patreon.com/Overwatchers, because that is the best way to support the show, and we really do appreciate it. Now, Patrick, what did you scrounge together for some strategies today? What did you bring for the class to improve their play?
So there are a couple of things. One is a straight up exercise, and the other one is more of a discussion starter, conversation starter. The first one is from a YouTuber I really enjoy called Force, and he has been enamored with Overwatch, and he's been making lots of videos lately, and one of them is about improving your aim, and he has kind of a trick that he picked up from someone else. Go check out the video. But basically what you do is that you start a custom match, you set the AI to hard difficulty, you put Annas everywhere in the enemy team, and you activate headshots only, and then you play McCree and you try to do headshots on Annas. Then they're all around you, you know, and you have a lot of targets. And the reason why it works really well with Anna is that she can't headshot. So it doesn't matter if she shoots at you, if the AI shoots at you, you're not gonna die because she doesn't headshot. So it's the closest you'll ever get to an actual game where you'll be able to practice outside of the practice range, which is, let's face it, not very. It's good for beginning, but then if you want to improve, it's not perfect.
Right, you're basically using the custom games to create your own headshot trainer, and you don't have you don't have to play McCree. By the way, you can play any hero that can get a headshot because, as you mentioned, Ana cannot get headshots, and neither can Zarya. But it's great. So go check out Force Gaming's YouTube, because this blew my mind, and I'm going to definitely go and do this because I need to get better at headshots.
I mean, if you go 6, I mean, I played against a hard AI. At least I did, like when I first started playing Overwatch, and hard AI is kind of hard, isn't it? Especially if you're going 6-on-1. So even if she can't headshot, she could. It still probably is pretty kind of hard. So I wouldn't advise going 6 man.
No, it's headshots only.
Headshot only.
She literally hit you.
They cannot damage
headshot
you.
only. So she literally does 0 damage. Okay.
Yes, you can't die. So it's all about training yourself to hit headshots on moving targets. And the big thing too with Ana is Ana strafes more like a real player, whereas Force Gaming even brought up that he attempted it with Zarya, but Zarya AI just charges at you in a straight line.
Yeah, right.
So there's that. But definitely go check out the video, because Force Gaming goes really deep into all the reasons why they set it up this way and the best way to kind of set it up, so that you can go and get better at headshots.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is a sort of longer post that Maniac with a 1 replacing the I posted on Reddit, and he sort of gave advice on how to improve for if you really want to. For people who do want to get better, he gave a list of ways to approach the game, and I bolded it down to a few cliff notes here, but go read the post in its entirety if you're interested. But basically, what he says is, first of all, think about what you're doing and how the match is going. Don't just keep going in aimlessly without being aware of your surroundings, what's happening in the other team, and all of that. Like, actually actively think about what's happening. The second thing is don't die, and that's something that is very important to me in Heroes. I think it's not as important in Overwatch as it is in Heroes, but it's still very important. If you realize that, and we're all guilty of this, I think, but if you realize that in front of you there are 2 enemies, don't just go in. You're gonna die. That's pointless. If you realize that you're at half health, just go back and get a health back. Don't wait for your healer to heal you. Stuff like that. Basically, stay alive. It's very important.
Yeah, unless you're Seagull, then take on the whole enemy team.
If you're Seagull, you probably don't need the advice of Maniac.
No, but
he's ranked 76, by by the way. He's not super duper pro, but he's pretty good.
76 is good, definitely good.
Yeah. Defense is hard, is what he's saying. At least, when you get above rank 50, I'm guessing defense definitely wins less than attack. But there is still things that you can do. Don't just all stay by the choke point. You have to attack from multiple angles. And for the love of God, if you're losing the point completely, if you're losing the point, don't go in one by one. That's a general advice for everything, but especially if you're losing a point and you're on defense, don't go in one by one, and just set up at the next choke point. If you still have a chance of getting it, maybe go in. But if you realize you don't, just set up, because if you don't, you might get snowballed into a complete loss if you haven't set up before they cap the point and charge in with all their ultimates.
That is one of the biggest differences I notice between playing coordinated with voice and not, is that when I'm playing with friends and a pre-made and we're on voice, if we start to lose the point, so many times someone will make a call, all right, stop, back up to the next choke, we'll set up here, just don't even bother. Yet every time I'm in a pickup game, people just kung fu movie, man. They're just going one by one, die. No, just stop. Just set up.
It's that mentality of just getting a kill for a life, and that is generally a bad mentality to have in Overwatch, and actually generally any game. If you notice, just even advanced players, they'll always maintain they'll preserve their life and just try to fight another battle, at least fight a battle where they'll have an advantage, or some type of scenario where, again, your single life is going to result in 3, 4, 5 lives instead, right?
Exactly. So, it's okay to play slow in Overwatch. Yeah. First of all, we don't have stopwatch, and that would only matter for attack in the first place. Especially if you are on defense. Play slow. You have nothing but time. Your goal is to run the clock out. So
I think in the case of defense, it's a little bit there's always this limit between when it's still worth going in to fight for the point, and at which point you should say, oh, okay, screw it, because at this point we can't keep it, and we risk being steamrolled on the second point as well. It's especially true on control points, right? Yeah. And it's really hard to estimate when you should just give up, because if you give up as soon as they touch the point, obviously this is not right either. So I think you have to learn, you have to feel when you should still go in, or when it's when it's lost and just set up.
Is that
in ranked mode? In ranked mode, usually someone calls it. It's not the case in quick play, but in ranked mode, you'll have someone say, "All right, guys, just forget it," as you were saying, Garrett. So
yeah, exactly. It's not even something I think you need to feel. You can literally, if you die defending a point, hit tab, see how many other of your teammates died. If you wiped and then you click out and you see the little 6 next to that ring that's filling up, it's probably not worth going back there, because unless you all pick Winston or D.Va and someone that can get there quickly, you're not going to get there in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be aware. Just be aware of your teammates, and where they are, and make an assessment as to whether it's worth doing. First objective point, I don't think is the biggest question, I think, on defense. Second, of course, it's pretty obvious. You have to touch the objective no matter what to keep the game going, right?
Yes, exactly.
So it's really that first one.
Yeah.
It can be tough, especially just from just seeing just a name. Sometimes I can't tell, are you guys almost there or not? Because if not, I'm just going to go set up my Torbjorn turret here instead.
Exactly.
Instead of having to run out there.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's also talking about attack in the same way. Basically, you really have to flank. You have to attack from multiple angles. Don't go in through the choke altogether. If you manage to get, it's going to take you a little bit longer. It's going to take you 20, 30 seconds to get behind the attacking team. But even if you don't kill them, your goal when you're doing this isn't to kill them. Your goal is to get them to retreat off of the choke point. So if you've done that, you sort of achieved something, and hopefully your team can break through and get into the second portion of the map to actually try and cap the point. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is practice. What he's saying is the quick matches are fun, but if you want to improve, even in quick matches, you should look at it as a chance to do something better, as a chance to practice. And of course, you shouldn't, I don't think you should get angry if people are messing around in quick matches to an extent. Obviously, if they're just, repeatedly jumping off the map, that's not fun. But you should still get it as a chance, at least from time to time. And that's for people who want to improve. Some people might not care. But if you do, quick matches, you should pay attention and look for things to do to get better.
Yeah, it ties back in with that first point, which is think about what you're doing and how the match is going. And it sounds silly, but it is really easy to fall into that trap of, I'm just playing a game for fun. I'm just going to get in, try and get some kills. I'll fight around the objective. But you don't actively think of, what angles are the enemies coming from? Where do I need to worry about? Do they have a teleporter up? Do I need to switch heroes to counter what they're doing? all of that active thinking is going to improve your game. And also, I think it's great to go into quick match with the active mindset that you're trying to play the best that you can, even when the other 5 members of your team might not necessarily be doing that. Because if you want to improve at this game, the only thing you really have control over is your own play.
Yeah,
exactly.
So do that. You can yell at people in all caps all you want. It doesn't mean they're going to listen. Is basically the point I'm trying to get at. So right click, report, move on your merry way, keep playing as best as you can. So community roundup. Patrick, I love that you do this because I read Reddit, but I do not read Reddit like you read Reddit. Patrick reads Reddit like the guys in the first Matrix read that scrolling green code. I mean, just fantastic. So
Almost as well.
yeah, almost as well. So Dan Bull's Overwatch rap, which if you haven't seen, I was not familiar with Dan Bull, and now I'm very familiar with him. This man can spit mad rhymes. And this rap is fantastic, and I highly recommend you go and listen to it. I'm not going to play it because we didn't get permission, and I feel like that's mean. So go check it out. Just go to Dan Bull's YouTube channel and check out the Overwatch rap because it is fantastic.
I mean, these music videos, you know, like I feel like these music videos are just great, you know, easy views, you know, for any kind of content makers or any kind of musicians that have any ability to do this type of thing. I mean, if you look at I mean, you can see this guy, you know, there's like a million views on this video itself. But, you know, I just feel like this type of content is actually amazing, you know, and we saw it some with Tempo, you know, in StarCraft right back in the day, but honestly in Hearthstone we've barely even seen anything like this in Hearthstone, and I never understood why. And I even told Tempo, like, why aren't you making like Hearthstone videos, and why aren't you making Overwatch songs now? Like, this is like easy, this is like just should be super easy for you, you know, and you love these games too. But you know, for whatever reason, you know, I don't feel like there's a lot of people making that. So if you have any kind of talent, I would encourage you make some of these cool videos too, or these type of songs and whatnot.
And I would bring up the point that, Chris, I would like to see your rap because it can be difficult to come up with this many sick rhymes.
I never said I could do it. If I could do it, I'd be getting millions of,
good point. All right.
of views on videos, right? But I know there are a lot of, you know, musicians and rappers and or whatnot out there that love these games, and just, I don't know, maybe they just haven't thought about it or just haven't really put 2 and 2 together. But I would like highly encourage you guys to do it. Just do a song. Just do like a SoundCloud version of it or whatever. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Agreed. I want more Overwatch raps.
Yes.
All the raps, one per character.
I'm still waiting for some solid machinima in the vein of the early days of World of Warcraft, where it seemed like you couldn't run out of machinimas to watch because everyone was making them. I want where's that landfall of a ton of Overwatch machinimas? Hasn't happened yet. So. Patrick, it looks like you found yourself an eSports site that's kind of doing what you've always wanted.
Asking for it.
Yeah, kind of. So this was actually made by a listener. He mentioned, I don't know how much he was trying to get my attention and how much was real, but he mentioned it was also because I've been saying how much I wish there were an easy way to watch tournaments, and that their name is Garrett, and he emailed and said to check out esportsred.com, which isn't up to date at the moment. Unfortunately, the last tournament is from about 10 days ago, something like that. But it's really well designed. The way it works is you have a video up, and you have a list of the tournaments. You have the different games. They're all Blizzard games at the moment. And you have a list of the tournaments per game. And you just click play, and it displays in the video section, and then you can go from match to match. The thing that is missing is a menu that would let you select which match you want to watch in that tournament. So if you want to go straight to the final, maybe a button that says, just show me the finals, I don't care about anything else. I think there is something really clever in the simplicity of this interface and the way it's organized. I think they're really close to making what I wish we had somewhere I've been complaining about. Did you guys check it out? What did you think?
I did. I think it's good. It'll be great if it is kept up to date, and it'll be one of the best damn things out there if they add what you just mentioned, which was click game 5 of 7 or whatever. That's what back in my early days of watching GSL all the time for StarCraft. That's how the GOM TV player worked, and they would even have games in there for games that didn't happen, so that it wasn't spoilers. So if it was a best of 5, there were always 5 links, even if it didn't go to game 5.
Right.
Oh, that is really clever.
Yeah. And you click on it, and it would just be a looping logo with some music or something. But if you watch in order, so that menu, because that's the thing you have to design. You have to design that menu system so that it doesn't spoil. Because it's like, well, it's best of 7, but it only goes to game 4. Well, then someone swept.
Yeah, totally. This has a lot of potential. I think.
Absolutely.
The way they procure everything it's exactly what you were asking for, Patrick. But you even have the potential of, having people vote on the different matches too. Like you can actually even see what people like the most, like what matches. Like you asked me, what match should I watch, right? Well, they could actually have that feedback system in here too, so you could literally see the best match of, the iBuyPower Summer Invitational, and it could show that.
It's even better than just going to the finals. Just the best one. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Garrett, dude, just not you, Garrett, the other Garrett that emailed me. Get back to it. Why did you stop working on it? He's doing it with his brother apparently, and I don't know why they stopped 10 days ago, but they shouldn't have. You were so close to satisfying what I wanted.
I really did. I can only imagine it's manpower. So hey, other Garrett. By the way, Patrick, is it spelled correctly? 2 R's, 2 T's?
Yes.
Correct. Is it spelled correct?
It's spelled correctly, yeah. All you 1T Garretts, you have screwed up my life. But anyways, if you need more help, tweet at us, man. If you need volunteers, let us know. I'd love to help you find some manpower to hopefully keep this thing going. And improve upon it, because I would love this, because I was spoiled when I first got into esports. It was StarCraft GSL, and their system worked pretty much flawlessly, and since then I feel like we've been going back to the Stone Age, but
particularly in Overwatch.
Oh God, Overwatch.
Actually Hearthstone's worse. I just put that out there, but Overwatch is just a tiny bit better.
Hero, I would argue Heroes is the worst. Heroes is
really
okay.
I don't know.
Unless it's on ESPN2, it's pretty hard to keep up on.
Okay.
But anyways, this is a great tool.
I'm sending a message to other Garrett to know what's up.
Wonderful. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely reach out. Reach out to all 3 of us. That would be good.
Anyways, great work. Go to esportsred.com, everyone, and support them, because I really like this tool. New game mode idea from the Overwatch Reddit called Bad Medicine. I'm assuming this is a brawl idea, and I love these kind of things because they're just wacky. And this is basically, they said, why don't we swap it? Any ability that causes damage, it heals instead. And any ability that heals, it does damage instead. And I love this, although I think Lucio would just be broken because he's constant.
You think?
Constant aura of damage.
Maybe they would need to select the characters that you can play, but I really like this idea. I think it could be fun. Maybe it would definitely be stupid, but it could be stupid fun.
Yeah, I love the bullet point. Roadhog has a dedicated suicide button. That's my second favorite bullet point, opposed to Reaper yelling "Live, live, live."
Yeah,
which just makes me so happy. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. The ultimate of Reaper would be giving back everyone their life. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be like a Zenyatta. That's true. Mercy would be like Symmetra, basically.
Yeah, right? Zenyatta should say "Gaze into your death."
Zenyatta would destroy everything.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He'd have a DOT that as long as he's inside of him, right?
Only his...
Oh, right. That I thought about his ultimate, but the thing. Oh yeah, that would be. That would be
too. Yeah.
Basically, the support would be godly. Like imagine. But
you'd have to.
I was thinking about Mercy.
You'd have to
Mercy
program.
Can only target her allies.
You'd have to program.
Mercy could basically kill you.
You'd have to program Mercy so that she could target enemies, and that's why you'd have to. The thing that makes it so good though in my head is like changing the voice, like getting custom voice lines just for this brawl would make it so much fun. And then also making changes to the code so that heroes like Mercy could just have this death beam.
Right. We'd have to have Bon Jovi in the background too, right? I mean, of course, you got to have a little bit of that, right?
Bon Jovi.
Bad Medicine. Come on.
I'm not a Bon Jovi fan,
Oh,
so
God.
Yeah, me either. Sorry.
I can't help you there.
Never mind. Maybe the listeners will catch that.
My cheesy '80s band of choice is Aerosmith. So, except for that one Armageddon song, I never need to hear that again. But yeah, I've never gotten to Bon Jovi. You and my mom could hang out and talk. She loves Bon Jovi.
Thanks.
Yeah. She's a huge fan. So. We also got a Best of Seagull compilation video, which I really enjoy because I haven't seen a lot of what is in this video. So if there's if you're ever wondering, hey, Seagull, why does he get tweeted at by Shaquille O'Neal? Go watch this YouTube highlight. We have it linked in the show notes because he's godly, man. Just sick. What a sick player.
It is insane. I mean, really go check it out. It's crazy. It's crazy what he can do. If you think, if you haven't watched tournaments or anything like that, if you don't know what level people are at, like the really good players, go check it out. It's just amazing. It will make you smile.
Yep.
I mean, there are other players that can play at that level, but the way Seagull does it while he's streaming, it's like this flow and relaxed, and he's interacting while he's doing these amazing plays. That's where it's just a step above everybody else. Like him being able to do this, because you can watch other players too while they're streaming. They're kind of relaxed and like they don't quite. Maybe they can still make some of these plays, but he's explaining everything. Oh, now I'll just like come over here and I'll wreck this, and he almost killed me there, but then I just killed everybody else. Like, it's just really great entertainment.
Like if you're coming from the world of Hearthstone streamers, if you watch a lot of Hearthstone streams, you've been spoiled because Hearthstone is a game that's very easy to be interactive while you play because you don't have to be on all the time. You can take a break in between turns. You can actually look at your chat without instantly dying. But games like StarCraft, like Heroes, like Overwatch, that is, you can very quickly like see the difference between a really stellar streamer and a more average streamer, and that's because it's very difficult to do what you just talked about, Chris. It's very hard to explain why you're doing what you're doing and be interactive with the chat room while playing this game where you have to be on 100% of the time trying to land your headshots, not die yourself, and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, his casual play is headshotting people.
Yes, that's his.
It must be nice. It must be very nice.
Yeah, so we just need to kill this guy over here and the other 4 guys on the team. We need to all kill them. We're gonna spawn camp, and I'm gonna die. Oh, I should have died. Like that was my favorite line in the whole highlight was, I'm gonna die. I should have died. He was just confused that he didn't just eat it, but. It's fantastic. And then finally, the final thing under our community roundup. Go watch it. It's a YouTube video of the funniest Pharah alt being cut short.
Can I play it? I think I might be able to get the sound to play.
Go ahead and try it.
All right. Let me know if you're hearing this.
Play of the game.
Nice.
Justice.
It's so audible.
That's amazing.
And I didn't even.
Justice.
I don't even like.
Oh man.
I don't even. You can't see the Pharah in the video, but it sounds like he's right on top of her when she dies. Like
exactly.
Hilarious. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So definitely. Oh my god, that just made my day. Absolutely made my day. But let's move on and talk about esports a little bit. Chris, what's going on in the world of Overwatch esports?
Well, the first thing we have is, like you mentioned before, Shaq actually tweeting Seagull about, basically saying that his team. He's if those of you don't know, he's one of the owners of NRG, the esports team. And he was basically telling Seagull, "Hey, you guys can come and join our team. Like we're definitely welcome, or we obviously want you guys." And there's some speculation involved with that, right? So because Seagull and the rest of his team is part of Luminosity right now, and these tweets generally are not coincidental. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some news with him. That crew going to NRG and leaving Luminosity. Not sure yet. But,
so what you're saying is, it's unlikely that he would tweet something like that unless they had already kind of agreed on something. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about agreeing, but definitely talks, or at least something is going on, right, with the Luminosity team that again, like Shaq doing this out of nowhere and the way he did it, just like exactly what he said in the tweet, definitely makes you, or I think points out that there's something going on with that team as to who's sponsoring them or what organization they're going to be representing. So we'll have to see what happens in the near future. But I would expect something to happen because, again, it wasn't super cash, this type of tweet. I felt like this tweet was a bit planned in some way, or at least the timing of it or whatnot seemed to be just because of something.
What you were saying is that there was a catalyst for this tweet happening. There's some talk going on somewhere where maybe these guys are saying they're interested in moving to a different home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see. Obviously, Seagull and Luminosity, or what is Luminosity right now, is definitely one of the most popular teams, at least North American teams, and it'll be a big deal, especially if they join NRG and Shaq. Shaq owning NRG is already just still trying to get used to that. It's pretty amazing that he has a team. But this was the first time that we've seen, any celebrity, I guess, any of the team owners from the other esports that is a celebrity, actually tweet about Overwatch. Because Rick Fox actually owns a team too, and I don't think he said anything, or he hasn't said much about Overwatch yet. So that's why this was such a big deal.
Yeah, NRG only currently has a League of Legends and a CS:GO roster, correct?
Yeah,
they only have two. They're only in 2 games. So
yeah. The next bit of news. So this is, of course, esports drama seems to always come alongside esports. TSM picking up Code 7. And this has caused a lot of drama in the community. But this, as the news itself, TSM coming into Overwatch is a big deal because TSM is.
Can you explain who they are? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, so TSM is one of the largest or most popular esports organizations, most well known for their League of Legends team because it started there, and owned by Reggie. Reginald, you probably doesn't mean anything to you, but Reginald's definitely one of the most popular team owners in esports, and they're one of the most successful organizations in esports too. So them coming into Overwatch, I think a lot of people already anticipated it, with Cloud9 coming in, and you're seeing like Fnatic and a lot of other just established esports organizations. TSM was inevitable to come in, and they picked a good team. Code 7's been arguably the second best team in the most recent weeks. Cloud9 actually making a push now, but Code 7, I think for the last month, has been the second best team in Overwatch. So I think it was a good selection from that standpoint, at least in the standpoint of teams in their results. But where the drama comes in is that they actually have 2 players on their team, Nicholas and Twerk, that have been proven to be cheaters in CSGO. And everybody knows this, and the Overwatch community obviously knows this too. And the reaction is basically that they're disappointed that TSM chose Code 7, at least with these 2 players on their team. Like choosing them to represent, such a, just such a huge brand. TSM being a likable and huge brand. So a lot of people basically, I feel like, well, actually, Torque and Nicholas got on that Reddit thread that I posted there, and explained that hey, we made huge mistakes in the past. We're trying to make up for it now, but to be honest, a lot of the community still, basically just doesn't want to give them a second chance. And I would like to say it's like a small percentage of the community, but it seems like it's a decent amount of the community. I'm definitely in the boat where, we should give them another chance. Like, this is a different game. Like, I always believe in people learning from mistakes in the past. And
how old are they?
They're in their 20s. Definitely. I don't know exactly, like early mid 20s.
We'll say esports age.
Yeah, so they were probably pretty young when they messed
up.
No,
it wasn't that long ago. That's another thing. It's within a year. So
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. So that's why a lot of people feel the way they do. But again, like I don't it hasn't been proven that they've cheated in Overwatch at all, and I've always just come from the standpoint of until they're proven guilty, like all these accusations
What
and
a-
things like that. It's like
What a novel concept.
I know,
Until you're
right?
proven
Right.
guilty. That's crazy talk. I don't know what you're saying.
You'd be surprised. Now, there's a lot of people until proven innocent after you've been a cheater, then you're always a cheater, which is
Yeah, exactly.
interesting sentiment.
You're always a Tom Brady.
Yeah. You're always a Tom Brady. Wow. Yeah. A lot of people would dispute that still, even today.
Come at me, Patriots fans.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's still ongoing. Well, I'm not sure what's like what's if there's any more news for if it's something still ongoing with that. But definitely, TSM has to be seeing this, and I don't know, maybe we'll see a statement from them just saying whether they believe in this team or not. But you have to think they did their due diligence and they understand the risk.
Yeah, well, hold on there. Do you think why do they need to do that? Because of some Reddit drama? Who gives a shit? Like they purchased them. Obviously, they believe in them. Like, why would you need to come out and make a statement about that because of what some random people on the internet
because
are
people
saying?
are complaining to like sponsors of TSM and things
Yeah,
like
okay,
that.
and those
like,
people are jackasses. Like, don't
yes,
go
I'm
and
not
complain.
saying they're not.
No, I know. I'm just I'm being the this always happens. We've seen this in every esport where you disagree with something and it's like, listen, nobody's telling you, no one's forcing you to root for these people. You don't have to like them, and that's okay. But the thing is, like, there's no rules in place. No one forced TSM to pick them up. They picked them up because they're good players. And like you said, Chris, until they've been proven to be cheating in this game, just root for your favorite team. Who gives a crap?
That's what I'm all about. It's like, guys, everybody that watches esports right now, or esports or Overwatch esports right now, just buy into everything you see. Don't be skeptical about everything you see, and just enjoy the matches and enjoy enjoy just the competitiveness and all the epic matches. Whenever they come out and like you hear somebody's cheated, then you can deal with it. But it's better than just being a pessimist or just speculating about hacks and all that stuff constantly, and not just just enjoying like what should be competitive Overwatch and just these pros that are playing at a crazy epic level. I think I think we've become jaded, or at least Overwatch, because of all these past esports, coming and Overwatch being like a melting pot of all these other games. There's some jadedness that's come into the space, and I don't know. I think people should just get away from that, and just be that naive person a bit. You'll be more happy about what you see, and then whenever stuff comes out, then you can talk about it. Then you guys want to witch hunt against somebody that actually cheated, then I guess you can do that. You would have at least some rationale for doing that. But right now, it's like that. It's tough. I mean, I don't think it's good for the community, and I don't think it's. I mean, and it's risky because you could ruin somebody's career, or you could ruin somebody's life, like in terms of what you say about accusations at this point, in terms
Right.
of what's happening now.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not even going that far. I'm not even telling you be more naive. I'm not even telling you be a happier person, because that's never going to work. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't need to go and try and ruin their sponsorships. You don't need to go and try and take money away from an organization and money away from players
Yeah.
when they're not like. It's fine. Hate them all you want. Cool. Now you've got a villain. Root against them. Like I said, like, use it to infer your. I hate the Patriots because I think they're cheaters. Also, I'm a New York fan, and that's just how life works. But that makes watching football all the more fun for me, because if the Giants rob them from yet another Super Bowl, I'm gonna have a bigger grin on my face.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But then again, like, you could email Coca-Cola or whatever, whoever one of those sponsors are, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal from the NFL sponsorship, but
No,
in esports, it seems to be a bigger deal.
It is, because we are yes we're esports is doing great. We're still growing. We're the biggest. Like, esports are the biggest they have ever been, but it is still, for a lot of things, it's still at a grassroots level. I mean, TSM is one of the bigger teams. They're a massive team. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't understand. Like, go and complain to TSM. Don't try and don't go and ruin the business relations that they've already built. They've already built in other games over years of being in the scene, because they want good players for their team. I don't know. I don't think TSM should be punished for wanting the best players that they can get.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I don't know.
Let's see. Next bit of news. So something huge, like an event that was announced from E-League and Faceit. They're joining forces, and we're going to be hosting a $300,000, so the biggest prize pool to date, tournament called the Overwatch Open. That actually the qualification started this week already. But this is big, and Patrick, I'm not sure if you're familiar with E-League and Faceit, but they're really huge in CS:GO.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, so they're really huge in CS:GO. E-League, Faceit's actually been around for a long time, but E-League is fairly new, and E-League
Yeah, wasn't it formed just a few months ago, 3 weeks ago?
Late last year was the announcement.
Okay.
E-League
they announced
made esports news last year because they announced that they were going to have Counter-Strike on TBS on cable in America 20 weeks out of the year for 2016, and that was huge news.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, TV has always obviously been this talking point, whether esports needs it or not. But in the end, being on TV is absolutely a good thing. I mean, there's nothing bad about being on TV. Like seeing heroes on TV, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter how many people actually watched. It's just it wouldn't. It's better than not being on TV, right? So, in terms of the E-League, Turner being such a huge company. And like Garrett said, it owns a cable company, and having them actually invest into a CS:GO league that has just a full out studio every single week. I mean, they have the best CS:GO talent there, casting it and hosting it. The product that they have right now is already really good, and that's just NA CS:GO teams currently. In E-League, it's not even every great CS. All the Europeans and the best in the world. So even just what they have with NA has actually been very, very good so far. So them, diving into Overwatch, that's huge. I mean, because Overwatch, as much as we love it and we're all in on it, the viewership hasn't really reached a point where you would warrant a $300,000 tournament and just all of this investment. So this is truly an investment into Overwatch esports, and it's really exciting. The grand finals for this tournament, by the way, is going to be on TBS. It's going to be on TV. I'd imagine maybe after E-League or something like that. It's maybe in tandem with it. But that's going to be the first time Overwatch is going to be on TV. That's going to be awesome. That's really, really epic.
So when is this happening?
So the qualifiers are actually right now, and the grand finals will be
Friday, September 30th.
Yeah, Friday, September 30th.
And
so it's going to be.
And it will. The thing I really like about this, because one of the big complaints for Heroes of the Dorm was you could only watch the finals on ESPN. The finals will be broadcast simultaneously on Twitch and on TBS. So if you don't have cable, if you're a cord cutter, you can still watch this.
Yeah,
legally.
And the all the link, the information's on masteroverwatch.com. You'll see the playoffs. There's going to be multiple rounds. Obviously, this week is just the qualifiers for I think just for just the lead into the whatever the bracket will be eventually. So it will span a couple months, but it won't span a couple months like the ESL Atlantic Showdown it has been, which has been like every single week. You're seeing like qualifier after qualifier after qualifier. It's not going to be like that, which is really, really nice because it's just been too much Overwatch, and just broadcasting qualifiers I don't think is just generally that great of an idea unless you have the big teams doing that. So it'll be a little bit more manageable. I think it'll be a better format than what we've seen so far with some of the others. But again, yeah, it's going to be the biggest one to date, 300K. That's crazy, guys. 300K.
That's a lot to money, and it's going to be on on a major network, on traditional cable. Earlier I posed the question, hey guys, do you think this is enough to make it a crazy summer? And I know the finals aren't technically happening in summer, but I would argue this announcement is enough to put me over the edge and been like, yeah, it's been a good summer for Overwatch. Yeah,
no, absolutely, for sure. Last thing I have is just a YouTube video of Tailspin playing Mei during, I believe it was the Overwatch Open. It was either the Overwatch Open or it was, it wasn't Alienware. It was, there's so many tournaments. I think it was the Overwatch Open that he broke out Mei on King's Row, and I mean it was amazing. It was amazing. No, he's just showing that what you can do with Mei. Mei, for those of you that are maybe had not have been watching esports events, she's not played at all. like almost 0% chosen, for in any of the maps. So Tailspin breaking it out this week was just a shock to everybody. And then when you watch him play it, I mean, he's playing it the way it should be played. He's bisecting armies, like isolating two at a, just basically separating two, maybe two or three of the players from the rest of them, and then he's headshotting them one at a time and not freezing them first and headshot. We're just talking about just straight out headshotting with right clicks, and just constantly moving. You can actually watch this video. It's super impressive. It's like a montage.
It's like watching a McCree player who can freeze people if he feels like it.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's the level of the headshots that are going on with his May play. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and Tailspin, for those you don't know too, he's one of the best DPS players in the world for Team Envious. So it's just enlightening. It just shows you that I think even though compositions are discussed and they feel established or figured out, somebody at that level can just totally break it or introduce something brand new and just throw a wrench in what everybody thinks is the meta.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. That's my favorite thing to watch happen in esports is to just watch the meta upset itself, especially like you said, when people think it's figured out and it's like, no, this game isn't figured out. Also, it keeps changing and we're getting new heroes. So on top of that,
yes, especially after all the balance changes, it's always like this knee-jerk reaction that everybody, somebody got nerfed, we're not playing them for like the next 3 weeks, right? That person just that character disappears for 3, like Widow, for instance, right? Yeah. I felt like Widow was, we were starting to see her just a tiny bit more, like in the recent weeks, and then now Ana comes out, so it's a big change, and the McCree changes. But I think sometimes I feel like it'd be nice to just give it a little more time to see some of the old meta kind of seep in with the new meta, and then see where it comes, see what results from that. We haven't gotten a chance to really see that because the changes have been coming pretty quick, because we've been asking for them to come quick. But eventually you'd think that it will stable out. It'll just become more stable, and then we'll get to see, a little bit of the new and a little bit of the old mixing together.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat room's asking when the next tournament is that they can watch.
Well, so this is another discussion we can have on a future show, but there is just too much to watch right now. Like you literally can watch the Alienware monthly tournament was yesterday. Ghost 2 Gamers is like every single Ghost 2 Gamers weekly. EUNNA is every single weekend, starting Saturday and Sunday. Right now, you can watch ESL Overwatch. You can watch the Atlantic Showdown that's happening. That's $100,000 tournaments. So we're gonna have $400,000 tournaments like going on in the summer, which is amazing. And then I believe the E-League has one more qualifier today, which might be happening in an hour or two too. So just go to twitch.tv and go to the Overwatch category, and then you're going to definitely see these tournaments going on anytime you need to, just to go to whichever one. But right now, I almost think there might even be a bit like an issue of oversaturation, which we can discuss in another show. But it's kind of crazy right now. There's just so many events, so many of the same teams playing. So it can be a bit much.
Yeah, it's again, this is why I like Team Liquid's Liquipedia, because the upcoming tournaments panel, which is on the right side when you first go to Liquipedia for Overwatch, they have many different Liquipedias, but it has upcoming, ongoing, and recently completed. It's a good way to kind of keep on top of. They don't have every single tournament there. Like they don't have everything you just rattled off, but they have most of the big name things that you want to be watching.
Yeah, that's generally what people like to watch too. And hopefully eSports Red in the future, right?
Yeah, hopefully Garrett, man.
That'd be great. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Not me, Garrett. Get back to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's a good place to stop it. Almost at 2 hours. Good show, guys. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you for holding it down while I was sick. But
great to have you back, and hopefully you won't be dying on us anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get good news from the specialist next week. I hope he's like, I don't know, you're just horribly unlucky. Eat more vitamins. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for, or light surgery or something. But anyways.
What?
I don't know, man. I get throat infections a lot, so I'm preparing.
Oh, really?
I'm bracing for the worst. But anyways, That's neither here nor there. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thanks again to our patrons and our producer LVE over at patreon.com/Overwatchers for supporting us. Follow the show on Twitter at OverwatchCast. Email us at mailoverwatchers@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, youtube.com/AMOTV, or wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. And keep those iTunes reviews coming. Really appreciate them. Patrick, where can folks find you?
I am not Patrick on Twitter, not Patrick on Facebook, and if you like politics, if you enjoy,
Does anyone
even
like
if you don't like
politics?
Yeah, that's. I realized my pitch wasn't really well thought through. I do a show called the Phileas Club, where we get people from different places in the world to discuss current events, and you get different perspectives from for those events that you might not have thought about. So that's culturally interesting. But last episode we recorded yesterday actually was about the U.S. election. So whether you're from the U.S. or from abroad and you want to understand, I got a widely different panel of different people, including Tom Merritt, our good friend from the Daily Tech News Show, and we discussed the election in lots of different ways, the candidates, of course, and what we think of them. And it's very, the thing I really want to do with this show is that it's about listening to what people have to say, not about yelling at each other. So anyway, if you think that would interest you, go to frenchspin.com and listen to the Phileas Club. It is really a fun show.
I need to go listen to that because Tom has this amazing way of making me feel calm and fine about things that sound nuts. And I got to tell you, at the moment, I'm converting my car to look like something from Mad Max and stocking up on gasoline.
Well, hopefully you
the U.S. elections, you're gonna have a field day for the next 3 months. You're gonna have. I mean, you could literally do U.S. elections every single week if you wanted to.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. So,
but don't, because that's just not healthy. It's just not healthy.
Well, it's a monthly show, so it's
it's only a monthly show. Oh, I thought it was weekly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Break it up. So, Chris, where can folks find you?
You can find me, just all my channels are ChainmanV. So on Twitch, it's obviously twitch.tv/ChainmanV, Twitter's ChainmanV, Facebook ChainmanV, and YouTube ChainmanV. I've got a couple more shows this week. One today, if you like about Hearthstone, I got a Value Town. It's going to be me, Firebat, and Chalky actually talking some. We're going to be brainstorming about our own cards and some of the decks, some of the fun decks that we've been working on, and Seat Story Cup too, if you want to check that out. And then tomorrow we have our second episode of my new show, Spoiler Alerts, where we'll be talking about Stranger Things, that TV show. That should be a lot of fun. You can check that out on actually Elohim stream, twitch.tv/Elohim tomorrow at 1 p.m.
That is on my increasingly longer list of things I need to watch ASAP.
It's good. It's actually good.
Yeah. I've got The Night Before I need to watch. I need to watch Mr. Robot because I haven't seen any of it.
Mr. Robot's good
everyone's
too,
losing their mind over it. And I've been catching up on Star Wars Rebels because I saw the trailer for Season 3 and it looks incredible. So,
nice.
Anyways, folks, you can find me in person in downtown Orlando this weekend hosting the CreateCon convention. We'll be doing a live Angry Chicken, live into the Nexus. There's going to be a live Let's Talk About Star Wars, Night Attack, Gamers In, and many other fine shows will be in attendance. So go, if you're local or if you can make it to Orlando without fuss, come on down to downtown Orlando this Saturday. Go to createconvention.net for details. There's still a couple tickets left if you want to come. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. As usual, all of the podcasts I do can be found on amove.tv, and you can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you in 2 weeks' time because everyone... I guess we still have people who aren't aware that we're now back to a bi-weekly scheduling format. So we do a show every 2 weeks. So it is normal that there's a show missing in the middle. So expect that. But we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of Overwatchers. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Bye.
Bye.